PTE in just 30 days. Is it really possible to get that 90 overall in the PTE exam in under 30 days? Trust me on this, it is possible if you know the plan that I'm unveiling in this video. The modules that need focus and the modules that do not need a lot of time and lot many factors. When you consolidate them into a perfect plan, 90 overall in under a month is 100% possible. Want to make most out of this video? Make sure you watch the video till the end. Hey everybody, Nakul here from SKILLS PTE ACADEMIC. Really hope everybody is doing fantastic. I'm back with yet another super awesome packed video on PTE in 30 days, the ultimate study plan for the year 2025. Well, before we get into the video, if you're not subscribed to this channel, kindly click on the subscribe button. Anytime you need online assistance, it's a paid assistance. You can check the information in the description of this video. We left a WhatsApp link. You can click on the link, send us a message. We will do the network. Also to tell you, recently we released our third official ebook as well. The first was PTE speaking cheat code, second is reading, and the third is match winning approach to PTE. The links in the description, you can buy it as a combo and avail some discount as well. Alright, without any further delay, let's straight away get right into the video. Before we delve into our perfect plan for the next 30 days, first thing first, you need to understand the modules that you have problems with. Simply practicing all the 21 modules or 20 modules is just a waste of time. Let's say there are modules that you're perfect, and now simply practicing on that and spending time is absolute waste, isn't it? The first thing is to know which modules you have problems, which modules you don't have problems, and accordingly decide a perfect plan, which I'm going to show you in just a while. So prior to showing the modules that you have problems and curating a perfect plan, know that 3 hours is what I'm asking from you on an everyday basis. 1.5 hours towards learning English, 1.5 hours towards the PTE sections. Why this way? Because a number of PTE modules test your English. Test your reading skills, listening skills, spelling skills, writing skills, grammar, vocabulary, collocations, and lot many factors. So you need to divide the time 1.5 hours towards English improvement, 1.5 hours towards PTE, overall 3 hours. Now with just 1.5 hours towards the PTE module, and you have 21 modules for PTE Academic and 20 modules for PTE Core. How do we make a plan so that we finish everything in just 1.5 hours? Let's understand. So before we delve into understanding the modules that demand a lot of attention and the modules that do not demand attention, let's have a rough idea of all the important tips and tricks of the PTE speaking section. Remember, entire PTE speaking is evaluated with respect to just 3 components. There is no grammar, it is the fluency, content, and pronunciation. But out of these 3, it's the fluency that wins the race over the content and the pronunciation. Now, what is fluency? Right now, the way I'm talking is very fluent. No hesitations, no fumbles. Add some naturality. You have to go at a proper rhythm. No matter what, this rhythm has to be maintained throughout the speaking section. When it comes to read aloud, this is what is required over the content. If you're able to give a perfect content, well and good. Even if you skip 1 or 2 words or misinterpret 1 or 2 words, absolutely fine. So when we devise a plan, all these things you need to consider and then devise a plan. The pronunciation is all about clarity. With what clarity you speak, so that people who listen to you will not come back and say, dude, I'm not able to understand anything that you speak. As long as you make sure that nobody comes back or even the software comes back and complain that it is not able to understand you, you don't have any problem in the pronunciation. Open the mouth more and speak whenever you practice. Practice for fluency, practice for clarity, not for pronunciation or the content. Remember this. When it comes to read aloud, ideal time to finish speaking in the read aloud would be 12 to 15 seconds or 16 seconds. Usually it won't take more time unless the length of the read aloud is very big. Next comes a repeat sentence. Remember, repeat sentence is a test of your listening skills. Don't memorize. Listen, understand, and respond. Every word need not be correct. Well, if you are able to repeat everything perfectly, well and good. For the short audio, repeat everything as it is. Probably 6-word audio, 7-word audio. For a lengthy audio, make sure you repeat at least 50 to 60% perfectly. You will have full scores. But what's more important here is the fluency, not the content, not the pronunciation. So repeat sentence, whenever you're practicing, you should practice for the fluency, not the content. Fluency, not the content. Small audios, make sure you speak perfectly. Lengthy audios like 13-word audio, 12-word audio, make sure you speak at least 50-60% correctly by not compromising on the fluency. After this comes describe image. Remember, describe image, again, it is the fluency that wins the race over the content. You got to use shorter templates after the recent November update that happened in 2024. The templates are banned, meaning lengthy templates you cannot use. Just some connectors, the image was about. Firstly, secondly, something of this sort you can definitely use. I'm going to soon show you a demonstration on what templates to use, how to use each and everything. But remember, describe image, again, it's the fluency that wins the race over the content. A few of the words you misinterpret, absolutely fine. Few of the content you missed, absolutely fine, as long as you're fluent and you speak something from the image. Remember, 25 seconds, 30 seconds is ideal. Don't have to speak till 40 seconds. And then comes retell lecture for PTE Academic and response situation for PTE Core. Use a template. In retell lecture, they're going to play an audio, take some short notes. When you take the notes, make sure you take the phrases and not just the keywords. I repeat, phrases, not the keywords. Phrases, not the keywords. 5 to 8 phrases would be ideal, or if you're taking lengthy sentences, 4 sentences are absolutely fine. Just speak the sentences or the phrases that you have written using a template. When you speak, don't worry about grammar, don't worry about anything, just go in a flow, you're gonna get the scores. Similar to this, respond to situation for PTE Core. Similarly, you will have a template. 3 sentences is what I need inside the template. They're gonna give you some time in the beginning before you're allowed to speak. Use that time to write some 3 sentences. Use a template and finish it off. What matters the most is not the content, it is the fluency. And then towards the end comes answer short question. You know the answer, you tell the answer. You don't know the answer, just repeat the question or say something and move on. This is a rough idea of the PTE speaking section. Now what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna show you each and every sections of PTE speaking. You also will practice along with me and I'll help you understand whether you have problems there or not. Should you include this in your routine or not? A very, very important part of the video. Make sure to follow whatever I ask you to do so that we can craft a plan that will help you get the score that will be tailored to your needs. We'll start with read aloud. I'm going to open a question. This is our soon going to be live website. Right now there are some issues, so we are testing it. Probably within a month it should go live. So you can just prepare well. I also prepare at the same time. Let's do it. Traditional divisions of domestic work are understood to persist because of the strong association of the home with humanity and with masculinity. To challenge that home is arguably equivalent to challenge what it is to beat a woman or man. Some words which are tricky, you just have to go in a flow. Let me first speak. Once I finish speaking, you can pause and speak. And then I'm gonna tell you a few pointers. Based on that, we will figure out if you should practice or not. Let's start. Traditional divisions of domestic work are understood to persist because of the strong association of the home with humanity and with masculinity. To challenge that home is arguably equivalent to challenge what it is to beat a man or a woman. If you properly observe man or a woman or a man, I interchange, but I was going in a flow. Are you able to do this? Now pause the video, speak, and then resume the video to see what mistakes you have done. I really hope you have paused it and spoken now. Let's understand if you really need to practice read aloud on an everyday basis. Well, if you're able to speak like the way I did, absolutely perfect rhythm, not even one hesitation or fumble, then absolutely not required. You don't need to practice read aloud. Trust me on this, you don't need to practice. But let's say you have trouble. I missed 4 or 5 words, not 1 or 2. 4 or 5 words I missed. So many words I interchanged, so many fumbles, and every day I need to practice. Now, how much time do I need to practice? Not 1 hour. All we have is 1.5 hours, and that is more than enough. 5 minutes, 5 read aloud, more than enough. Trust me on this, it is enough, because simply practicing 100 read alouds in a day is not going to make a difference. I've seen students who never practice read aloud and get reading 90 because their reading skills are good. That means you need to give a lot of time to work on your reading skills. Simply practicing read aloud is not going to make a huge difference, isn't it? 1.5 hours towards English learning, there at least 1 hour I'll make you read a novel. You do that, 5 minutes of read aloud practice, done and dusted. In 2 weeks, you will stop practicing for read aloud. This is how you should plan. Be smart and do the things that actually touch the base of the logic. For read aloud, the base is reading skills, not simply practicing. So if you're able to speak like me, no need to practice. If you're not, then yes, 5 read aloud, 5 minutes a day, more than enough. Trust me on this. Now we will take up 1 or 2 repeat sentence questions and see whether you should practice repeat sentence or not, whether you should include repeat sentence or not in your routine. I'll just start with this audio.
A man who suffered serious brain damage during an operation is suing the hospital.
The man who suffered brain damage during the operation. You can speak this and click the stop recording and move on, you will get full scores. Or you can also say, the man who suffered brain damage during the operation is suing the hospital. If you're able to speak everything, well and good. If you're able to speak first 50-60%, well and good. But if you're able to speak this and lot of fumbles, lot of hesitations, then marks will go down. That means if you're able to speak like me, then actually not required to include this in a routine, because you will be listening to a podcast on an everyday basis at least for 20 minutes. But yes, since repeat sentence is not an easy task, I would recommend practicing repeat sentence for 10 minutes a day. Don't simply do it for 1 hour. 10 minutes, a productive practice, focusing more on the fluency, not on the content, is actually enough. Trust me on this. So let's take up another repeat sentence. You also listen and try to speak. Let's see.
The cafeteria features sandwiches, salads, soup, fish and chicken.
The cafeteria features sandwiches, salads, fish and soup. I was fluent, so many words, probably 2-3 words I did not match, but I was fluent, and whatever I spoke, probably 60 to 70% of the words that I spoke properly matched. So I should be getting full scores. So this is how you practice. Let's say when you're practicing, you're aiming only towards the content. That means that practice is not a practice at all. That means you're not progressing, you're only practicing, you're mentally satisfied. But result would be the same result that you got in the previous exam. Now, how to progress? 10 minutes of practice, probably 10 read alouds, more than enough. But when you practice, make sure you focus more on the fluency. Listen less. Short audio, perfectly, you give the content. A little lengthy audio, divide them into phrases. 2 phrases are enough. First to the last phrase, first, second phrase. Try to speak 8-9 words perfectly as it is. The remaining you skip and click the next button, done and dusted. This is how you practice. 10 minutes of repeat sentence, more than enough in a day. Remember this. Now we'll take up or describe image, a bar graph I'm taking. I'm restarting. Let's see, you also do it at your end. Probably you can wait for me to finish and then you can do it. 20 seconds are there. So probably movie E has the highest box office revenue, followed by movie D, second highest. Movie A is the third highest. Conversely, movie B has the least box office revenue. That's enough. So now I'm just waiting for it to run down. The image provided is a bar graph that gives information about movie box office revenue, while the x-axis talks about the movies in different categories such as A, B, C, D, E. The y-axis talks about the revenue in million. From the image, it is evident that movie E has the highest box office revenue with a value of over 800 million. The second highest is movie D, which has a value of over 700. Conversely, movie B and movie C has got very least box office revenue with a value touching 150. In conclusion, this image talks about the movie box office revenue across movie A to E in terms of million. This is how you speak. A little bit of fumble, it's still fine, chalega, not a big problem. As long as you're fluent, don't fumble, but as long as you're fluent, you should be able to get a good score. Now, describe image. Well, everybody probably has problems in describe image because we think too much on the content, think little less on the content, focus more on the fluency. This idea, once your subconscious learns, then you can stop practicing for describe image. Until then, meaning until you get the flow in the describe image, meaning you don't focus more on the content, you just speak. Until you get that, you got to practice every day, you got to practice. So from my experience, 5 images meaning 5 minutes, approximately 5 minutes, 5 images a day is more than enough. Why am I telling you to practice only for 5 minutes? Because this is not an important section. Describe image hardly contributes some 10 to 12 marks and not more than that. Read aloud, repeat sentence is more important. So repeat sentence you practice for 10 minutes. Describe image, 5 minutes, 5 questions a day should be more than enough. And then comes retell lecture or respond to situation. This also is not a priority. 8 to 10 marks to both speaking and listening. 1 or 2 questions will come. So I'd recommend you practice 1 or 2 questions a day. 1 question is 2 minutes, so 1 question should be enough. If you want to feel more confident, then 2 questions. Don't simply practice 10 questions a day. Whatever the audio that you take, just give your best in the note-taking strategy, right? That's where you have to give your best 4 to 6 or 8 phrases. The more phrases you write, better marks you get. Or some 4 lengthy sentences, use a template and speak. This is for written lecture. For respond to situation, 3 sentences, just write or speak using a template that I've provided in many videos. Done and dusted. Here the content is not a priority, it is the fluency. And now to get that fluency, the only thing that you should forget is the grammar. You focus more on the grammar, making mistakes, correcting it, feeling all nonsensical things in the mind. The fear, the anxiety, nervousness, because you have problems in the grammar. What it does is it's gonna reduce the scores, because grammar is not going to give you marks. Because of problems in the grammar, you are not focusing on the fluency. Fluency dips, marks gone. So 1 or 2 questions, 1 question is actually enough if you want to feel more confident. 2 questions. So not more than 4 minutes, because time is very crucial factor here. I'm going to give you only 1.5 hour every day to practice. So we have some important modules to follow after this. Not a priority, 1 question should be enough every day. 5 questions of describe image, which is 5 minutes of describe image, 2 minutes of written lecture or respond to situation, and 10 minutes of repeat sentence. Read aloud if you really want. You practice if you think you have problems. 5 minutes should be more than enough. So that means overall some 18 to 20 minutes is what I'm asking you to focus on the PTE speaking, and not more than that. You do this a conscious practice. Know what is required, accordingly practice 100%. This will work. Next comes PTE writing. PTE writing involves 2 sections: summarize written text and essay writing for PTE academic, summarize written text and email writing for PTE core. Remember, both these sections, all these 3 subsections are not a priority. Summarize written text, take any 2 full sentences, in between them add a comma and a connector, towards the end put a full stop, then and dust it. Now you don't have to practice. You don't have to go to some website and keep checking your score, stressing all over again because that software, that website gave you low score. I think I'll not be able to get 90. Summarize written text will not give you 90, it gives 4 marks. Follow this method, that's all, no need to practice, done and dusted. Next comes essay writing. Any template would be fine, but make sure you choose a template which gives you freedom to write 5 sentences on your own. I've given the new templates recently, the old one little modified. You can take them up or you can take any template. Now the thing is, do I need to practice every day for essay writing? Absolutely not required. But let's say you have troubles in grammar and spelling, then I would recommend 1 essay on an everyday basis, or at least 2 days once you can practice 1 essay. Simply don't spend 1 hour on the essay. Essay will give some 12-15 marks. It doesn't give 90. Hope you're getting it. But let's say you are someone who is very confident in grammar. You're able to converse freely with anyone else in the office. You don't have problems with the basic grammar, basic spellings. Then you don't have to practice, man. I've seen many students, 90 overall students, never touched the essay even 1 day. They just understood what is required. They just watched my YouTube videos, directly went and got 90. On the other hand, there are students who've been writing every day 5 essays and not able to cross 50. Why? Because the skill set is poor. They have problems in the grammar. That means you should read a book, fix your grammar, not just write essay. Hope you're getting it. Similar to this email writing, what matters in email writing is the tone. Accordingly, we have formal template, informal template. Choose it, address the question. Even in essay writing, you need to address the question. By the way, essay is for PTE academic, email writing is for PTE core. Essay writing is 20 minutes, email writing is 9 minutes. So if at all you're giving time to this, thinking you're not so good at it, every day 1 essay or 1 email writing would be more than enough. Or every 2 days once, don't have to spend a lot of time on this. And whenever you're practicing essay writing or email writing, let's say consider essay writing, 20 minutes is what is given to you. 15 minutes, you finish everything. The remaining 5 minutes, you have to proofread. Email writing, 7.5 minutes, you have to finish everything. The remaining 1.5 minutes, you need to proofread for spellings. And this is what you would be doing if at all you're practicing essay writing or email writing. Understand this. The next comes is the reading section, one of the most difficult ones and very, very important ones. Has 5 modules. First comes reading, writing, fill in the blanks. Gold mine, trust me. 25 plus marks to reading, 25 plus marks to writing. And then comes choose multiple answer. Skip this. In the exam also skip this. While practicing also skip this. On the exam day, you see this question, click one answer, click next, move on. Time saver. You practice this, I'm telling you 100% time waste. Then comes reorder the paragraph. Don't practice. Just watch my 2-3 videos that I've made in the YouTube, more than enough. Understand what it is, apply directly. 1.5 minutes you give in the exam. If you're able to solve under 1.5 minutes, well and good. If you're not able to solve, randomly drag and drop something and move on. It is not important module at all. Hardly 4 or 5 marks. Trust me on this. We've seen students skipping this and still got 90 because when they skip this. I'm not asking you to skip this, but people have skipped it and still got 90 because the reading FIB and reading writing FIB were perfect. So don't skip 1.5 minutes you give if you're still not able to solve anything. Randomly select and move on. Not a priority, not a priority, not a priority. And then comes reading fill in the blanks. Yet another gold mine. 25 plus marks towards your reading alone. And then comes choose single answer. Select one and move on. Not an important one. You have to skip choose single answer, choose multiple answer and reorder. Reorder, don't skip directly. 1.5 minutes you give, still not able to solve. Randomly choose one and move on. Having said that, we are left with just 2 sections. Reading fill in the blank and reading writing fill in the blank. Now let's take a small demo on reading writing fill in the blanks. So let me help you solve this particular question. And while solving, I'm gonna put some questions to you. You yourself would understand how much time you need to include in your everyday routine for the next 30 days. Alright, let's solve this. In the ever-evolving landscape of technology, data has become the lifeblood of the digital age. With the proliferation, now people don't know the meaning of proliferation. Not all, some. Correct? So now with these kind of things, getting 90 or 70 then it become very difficult. 1.5 hours when you start reading books and then practice reading, writing FIB along with it, then only things will start working. The proliferation of smartphones and the Internet of Things. We are generating dash amounts of data. Now the context says this much of data. This much is what? Now limited, random, massive amounts of data. This data has the potential to revolutionize industries, inform decision making and improve quality of life. However, it also raises concerns about privacy and simple one. Now privacy and transparency, privacy and accessibility. Now you should know the collocation, privacy and security usually goes together. The concept of data privacy is important than ever. In the quest to collect and analyze data, companies and governments must always strike a balance. Now without even seeing it, I know what it is because I'm strong at collocation. But let's say you don't know the strike a balance is a collocation. Then yes, you need to consider this very seriously and include some extra time towards just learning collocations, isn't it? Now strike a balance between innovation and safeguarding individuals' personal information. Data breaches and the misuse of data have become all too common, eroding public trust and highlighting the need for robust safeguarding, exploitation, robust some measures. What kind of measures? Safeguarding measures. Robust safeguarding measures, because we're talking about data, you need to safeguard them. Now the last one, if you're not sure if the answer is safeguarding, accountability, evasion, you don't know the meaning, exploitation, you don't know the meaning, then for sure simply practicing reading, writing FIB is not going to make sense, isn't it? You practice, understand, put your efforts, at the same time you improve English. Hope you are getting it. So now whatever the plan that we are devising should have all the things at once. Simply if I tell you practice half an hour reading fill in the blank, you will have 90, then probably I'm cheating myself, because that will not work. It will work only for Shakespeare's son, Shakespeare's distant relative, but not for someone who do not know the meaning of all these words. Isn't it so? So having said all these things, I would recommend you to practice 5 reading fill in the blanks question, 5 reading writing fill in the blanks question. Every day use a timer of 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes per question. Try not to exceed this particular time when solving. And also once you finish this, sit for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Close the door, close your eyes and just think where all you went wrong. What was the problem? It could be patience problem, falling for the trap. It's like that girl is saying hi to you, you thought that girl is saying hi to someone behind you who is a Hulk, not you. You pick it up thinking it's the correct answer, but correct answer is this. Or interchanging the option because you completely read the story wrong. So these could be the problems people usually face, or vocabulary issue. So basically when you analyze the mistakes after practicing, 5 minutes is what I'm asking, you definitely would get to know that next practice session, I definitely have to fix this. At least whatever in my hands. Probably vocabulary problem is not in your hands immediately. You cannot fix it. You need time. You got to fix it over the time. But patience problem can be fixed. Interchanging the options can be fixed. Falling for the traps can be fixed. Isn't it, when you are being very much aware? For this, you got to talk for 5 minutes. Overall, I would recommend some 40-45 minutes. Spend that productive time towards reading fill in the blank and reading, writing fill in the blank. The next comes PTE listening. Remember, PTE listening in the PTE Academic has 8 modules. PTE Core has 7 modules. But What is important is 4 modules. Summarize spoken text, listening fill in the blank, write from dictation, highlight incorrect words. Summarize spoken text, similar strategy with respect to what we did for retell lecture. The plain audio, take some short notes, 4 or 5 phrases here is enough. If you are for PT Academic, write some 50 to 70 words, 65 words would be ideal. For PT Core, write some 20, 30 words, 28, 29 words would be ideal. No grammatical errors, no spelling errors. So I would recommend 1 summarized spoken text a day you can practice. 2 will come in the exam, 8 to 10 marks and not more than that. But this module gives marks, 8 to 10 marks towards your listening and writing both, just like retell lecture or respond to situation. So this is also an integrated section. 1 summarized spoken text a day is enough. 10 minutes is what they give you. So use this time, proofread, grammatically fix it, do all sorts of things. Max 10 minutes or not more than that. 1 question is more than enough in a day to work on summarize spoken text. The next is, remember the 4 sections of the PT Academic and 3 of the PT Core you got to skip. Choose single answer, choose multiple answer, select missing word, highlight correct summary for PT Academic. Choose single answer, choose multiple answer, select missing word for PT Core, because highlight correct summary they themselves have removed because they understood it is not important. These 4 sections, no need to practice, no need to practice, no need to practice. Even in the exam, no need to do, no need to do, no need to do. Just don't skip them. The plain audio, while the audio is getting played, you cannot click the next button. So you wait for the audio to end. Once the audio ends, if you have the answer ready, click 1, click next, move on. If you don't have the answer ready, randomly click 1, click next, move on. Follow this for all the 4 sections that I told just now for PT Academic, or for all the 3 sections that I just told for PT Core. Having said this, now what is left? Listening fill in the blanks. Highlight incorrect words, write from dictation. Listening fill in the blank is the most important module. 12 to 15 marks to listening, 12 to 15 marks to writing. Some 30 marks you can expect, and this is where people have trouble. Spelling problem, listening skill, accent problem, and not able to get that word only. So you got to practice 5 questions a day. I would recommend you to practice on an everyday basis. Having said this, once listening fill in the blanks is done, now highlight incorrect word is a very easy one. In the beginning you practice, get used to the format, and then you can stop it, because highlight incorrect word is a very simple one. In the exam it would not pose much trouble. So I don't see much reason to practice unless you really have a lot of troubles in that, which I myself have never heard. Most probably people would get it. Only that person who has problems in reading, he cannot read even little faster, that person will have problems in highlight incorrect words. Then practicing this is not going to work. You got to improve your reading skills. 1.5 hours towards English improvement. That will help. There you spend your time, and randomly one day you come here and practice, done and dusted. So from my experience, you don't need to give time to highlight incorrect words when you practice. In the exam, it becomes very important. Directly you do it. Now what is left is write from dictation. Very, very, very important one. 40 to 45 to 50 marks towards your listening and writing both, and I would recommend you to practice some 10 questions a day. Now when you practice 10 questions, remember 100 questions a day not required, because it is not going to help also. What helps you is the approach. 10 questions a day, being aware of what it is. Listen to the audio, don't memorize, don't memorize, don't memorize. Understand, understand, understand. Just like in repeat sentence, I was showing the phrases. Here as well, you got to understand them as phrase. Write them quickly, expand it, add extra words. Do this diligently, perfectly, with being properly aware of what it is. 10 questions, 10 minutes a day should be more than enough. Trust me on this, it's more of being aware than just of practicing to get mentally satisfied. Do this 10 questions a day, write from dictation, by being very much aware of what it is. 5 questions a day, listening fill in the blank, and 1 question a day, summarize spoken text. That sums up entire PTE listening. So overall, some 10 minutes of write from dictation, 10 minutes of listening fill in the blank, and 7 to 8 or 10 minutes of summarize spoken text. 30 minutes listening, or 40 minutes reading, and 20 minutes speaking. 90 minutes, 1.5 hours is what I'm asking you to give on an everyday basis. Nakul, I have 8 hours a day. Can I do this for 8 hours? Not required. Don't assume that you practice for 8 hours, you'll get 91 overall. 100% no. If you have 8 hours, 1.5 hours only you give to PTE. The remaining 6.5 hours, you give it learning English. You will see a difference, huge difference in your scores. Trust me on this. So the 90 minutes towards the PTE section is done and dusted. The remaining 90 minutes, what I should do. Remember, 1 hour of reading a novel, 100%, this is pretty much important. 20 minutes listening to a podcast. There are innumerable number of podcast websites in the internet, iHeart.com, Podbean.com, YouTube. You can listen to them. Some even offer the transcriptions for you to understand what it is. 20 minutes a day you do it, and 10 minutes spelling test. Download some apps and try doing it. In our course, every day we have this spelling test. Every day we have the reading skill improvement. Every day we have reading fill in the blanks improvement. So if you want to invest on a course, you can join us. We will help you. Otherwise, my YouTube videos will definitely guide you. As long as you are able to put the time and the effort rightly, should be more than enough. No need of any course. If you still are not able to get it, then join the course. We will fix it. The best time to practice is probably 6 a.m. Before 6 a.m. if possible, or 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Preferably in the morning, early morning, where your mind is free. But there are some people who prefer doing it in the late night. You can do it, but whenever you get time and the time at which you're most active, use that time to focus on the PTE for 3 hours. So all in all, I'm going to summarize everything that I just talked about and add one small thing regarding memorizing the templates. 5 minutes, you got to speak the templates, preferably morning. Just speak them once. It will take 5 minutes. Do it every day. You will have the templates in your mouth. Entire speaking practice with the TV on, 20 minutes of the speaking. Essay, email writing, I would recommend 2 days or 3 days once, but if you want, you can practice every day. 1 essay or 1 email writing and 1 summarized spoken text as well. 40 minutes of reading section and 30 minutes of listening section, and analyze all the mistakes with your eyes closed for just 5 minutes. Any websites will do, but don't blindly believe the AI scores unless you're sure of the mistakes. And take official mock test towards the end before you book exam. Know the importance of taking Pearson official mock test. That will definitely give you the right direction. The right amount of mistakes that you've done, what scores you would get in the exam. Accordingly, you yourself would know whether you should book it or not. If you're getting low scores, you can record the mock, analyze your mistakes. It has huge benefits. Trust me on this. Alright, I really hope this was an informative content. If you believe the same, like, share and subscribe, and leave your valuable comments in the comment section. With this, I'm gonna park the session here. This is Nakul, Nakul. Nakul signing off from SKILLS PTE Academic. Soon we'll be back. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. Thanks much.